Sunday morning full moon. Or I think it's full moon a bit later today. Hi. Not facing into the sun today, which is freaking awesome. I'm like, how come I never thought of this before, right? But it's a pretty backdrop again. I really like finding these nice backdrops. And it's a beautiful, gorgeous day. And I'm wondering how you're feeling on this beautiful full moon time. And yeah, I just saw today on Facebook, Elizabeth Peru. If you don't, hi Donna, hi. Say hi if you're here. If you don't know or you don't follow Elizabeth Peru on Facebook, I highly recommend, because she is like an astrologer and so much more. But I just saw her post pop up on my feed this morning saying that this full moon, hey Narissa, this full moon ends a cycle that started on the new moon in January. So if you're just joining me, I just want you to kind of have a think back to what was happening for you in January. And, you know, kind of what was going on and the shifts and changes, you know, that started kind of happening. And then if you think into February and then what happened in February, thanks for the love hearts, guys. If you think in February, hey Jess, going through into February, you know, what was happening in February, it feels like February and March were pretty heavy for a lot of people as well, like a lot of, you know, kind of hitting dark walls went on. I know for myself personally it was a big thing, but definitely spurred on from the changes in January, yeah. And, you know, like for this full moon today to be ending the cycle that began in January is really kind of significant and huge. And I was talking to Jay about this in the ocean this morning. So I went for a surf this morning, even though it was fucking freezing. Well, the air temperature was cold. Hey, Joa. The air temperature was cold, but the water was warmer. I knew the water would be warmer than the air temperature. So I was like, yeah, I'm going surfing. But the water was crystal clear. And anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So yeah, like the significant shifts and changes, it feels so pertinent for a lot of people, right? It's like whatever kind of, you know, like we went into 2017 with a whole like, yes, this is going to be a great year. And it's just been like, feels like it's just been hell for so many people, right? And especially in the past kind of 2 to 3 weeks, a lot of people have hit another period of darkness. And like, you know, people have been shifting through a lot of shit in the past 2 to 3 weeks. In the past couple of days, if you've really felt like you're walking through sludge as well, you're not alone. There's been a lot of people hitting a lot of, you know, a lot of sludge, yeah? And we all know what comes out of the mud, and what grows out of the mud is the lotus flower. Hey, Matt, lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining me live, guys, this morning, because, yeah, I just felt really cool to jump on now in this morning, and you know, realizing it's the full moon, and you know, having that shift and the realization that it's ending a cycle from the start of January, you know, and it has really been quite heavy for a lot of people. You know, what are we now, July? So it's almost like, you know, here's been 6-7 months of you know, like working through shit when, you know, and I speak about this a lot, you know, if you think back to November last year, and this, I think it was the start of November, and that first kind of week in November, we had that, I guess, the taste of what 2017 was going to be like. There was a big kind of, just a period of window of a few days, but it was just like, oh, on top of the world. And then we all kind of hit back into this sludge, yeah. And, you know, when I talk about the sludge and the darkness and all this sort of thing, it's, you know, it's the light workers, it's the leaders, it's the wolves of the pack who will understand, you know, that it's like, you know, when you are working through, you know, shit, basically, you know that you're doing it, you know, for a greater good, let alone yourself, right? And it's like this internal work that not many people do, right? But if you're watching me and you follow my work and you resonate with what I say, then you are one of the leaders. You are one of the, you know, people who stand out from the crowd, who actually don't fit in, who never feel like they fit in, who get called weird or crazy or all that sort of thing. You're like, you're not alone, right? We're just the leaders and the people who, you know, are here to make changes in the world. So, you know, with this kind of, you know, this shit that we've kind of hit, it just feels like, you know, like that period in November when we had that, like, oh yeah, this is the start of something new. It's like, it feels like, you know, today marks the end of the cycle that began in January, you know, like we went into this year going, yeah, it's going to be great. And we've all just been going, what the fuck is going on, right? So, you know, it feels like today to really honor today on this full moon and to, you know, I guess just reflect on what's happened in the past, you know, like 6-7 months, because we have hit solstice, we've gone through solstice, and now we're kind of, you know, into a new cycle, coming into the last half of the year. And, you know, moving through it feels like we've hit a new year, right? It feels like, you know, a new year has opened up, and it's like, okay, cool, what's happening for the rest of the year? And it's like this whole thing of, you know, like whatever dreams and things we had at the start of the year, and even from January in the past 6-7 months, it feels like they've completely shifted. It's like we've gone from going this way to 100%, like 180 degrees turning the other direction. And it's kind of like, whoa, but it feels so right, even though the head's going, but you might still be holding on to things, but the heart is like, whoa, let's go this way, and it feels right. But we're like, oh my God, I can't believe that was the way we're going, or I was thinking like that, or how come that happened? It's like, but it's like trusting your heart and, you know, going this direction, yeah? Does anyone have any questions? I've got stuff to say about opening your heart to love too, because it's all relevant in, you know, in being able to trust your heart and move in that direction. Because as you know, and you've heard me say so many times, that, you know, what the heart wants and where the heart's going and what feels right doesn't necessarily make logical sense. And it is, you know, it's a big thing to step into the heart and to trust that 100% rather than, you know, like if your heart's telling you to go this way, but your mind is like overriding your heart, it does take practice, and I've spoken about this a lot, to be able to, you know, trust your heart over your mind even when it doesn't make logical sense. And this whole thing about opening your heart to love, like before I realized the full moon stuff and remembered the full moon stuff, I was going to talk on live stream today about love languages and, you know, understanding, you know, love languages to help with relationships and all that sort of thing. This whole opening your heart to love is a very kind of, it should be a simple concept, but in today's society, it's a deep concept, yeah? And, you know, having that space of compassion and, I don't know, I think I was speaking about this on Friday on my live stream. If you didn't catch that, you can go and watch it, you know, and I feel like I say the same things over and over again. I'm like, do I have to say this again? It's like this repetitive message, but maybe it's a big part of my message. Like my business logo is a heart after all, and that came to me in meditation in 2006. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to trust the heart, right? And it's this thing of, you know, like, I don't know, the if there's conflict going on even in your mind or in your life, whether it's with another person or you've just got your own shit going on, it's kind of like, can you just hold yourself in that space of compassion and understanding for yourself that, you know, like at the core is love. And when we drop deeper into love and we drop deeper into more awareness of ourselves and become more conscious of ourselves and our choices and our behaviors and our decisions and all that sort of thing, it's like understanding, it's like almost like you'll hit another layer and you'll hit another layer, and you know the wisdom comes through in the practice of the heart muscle and being able to hold yourself and just going, okay, cool, this is stuff that's going on, it's like heavy, it feels like I want to die, I don't want to be here anymore, it's so hard, right? But when you know that it's just, you've just hit another layer and you've just hit another stuff, you know, when you get through that, and I saw Lois Rowley post about this morning on Instagram, it was a picture of the sunrise and it's like the light breaks through to the darkness always. And I was like, yes, just like the sunrise, the light comes up eventually, right? It's like the same thing with the lotus flower coming through the mud, right? It always, you know, it comes through the shit to get to the light. And when you can hold that kind of awareness and stuff, and knowing your support is probably the biggest thing, right? So getting back to love languages as well, but, you know, having your support in place. So it's like self-care. What do you need to do in those times? What can you say no to? Who can you call upon? You know, do you have that tribe or that friendship that you can just go to in those times of need? And if you don't, please PM me, because it's really important that you've got that support. By people who understand what you're going through and don't think you're crazy and don't think you need, you know, mental help, because when you're a light worker and a leader and a wolf and you leave that pack and you know, awaken from the herd and just go, whoa, what was I thinking? And you step into this new paradigm and this new realm that is definitely kind of, you know, awakening for people. It's like having that tribe is so important, yeah? Because we know that, you know, it at the core is love. And when we can stay in the heart rather than going, oh my God, and judging that, when we can just hold it here and just go, oh yeah, I so get it, like, and just hold someone in that, they shift through themselves. And it's the same with children, you know, like, it's like when kids tantrum and cry and all this stuff, people just want to shut them down and tell them to shut up and, you know, like, stop crying or give you something to cry about. And it's kind of like, wow, you know, when you can just hold someone, whether it's a child or another adult, in that space of compassion, just go, wow, you're really upset right now. You know, I'm here, you know, not try and fix them, not try and do anything. They work through and get to their own, you know, work through your own stuff with someone just listening to you and just being there for you. You don't need fixing. You're not broken, right? We're human. We have emotions. We go through cycles. We go through all the rays of, you know, human emotions. And, you know, when you have that understanding, even for yourself, you're able to move through stuff quicker. And I teach this in Trust Your Intuition. It's like, you know, when you understand, you know, more of the cycles and the emotions and, you know, what happens with the grief cycle and all of that, you shift through a lot quicker, because you get it. You're like, okay, cool, this is it. This is that. Okay, cool. What do I need to do to support myself in that? Okay, cool, sweet. Okay, cool. It might take me a couple of days, or it might take me a week, or however long it takes you. But when you have that awareness and compassion for yourself, that's when it'll start reflecting in your outside world, right? And when you can open your heart to love for yourself, that's when the universe will then reflect that with someone who also opens their heart to love. Now, the thing I want to talk about with the love languages and when we're talking about this opening your heart to love, if you have that sense of what I just described for yourself, that's when other people shift around you too. So it's like when you hold those harsh judgments against yourself and like, oh my God, I'm in it again, and, you know, I can't believe this is happening again, and there's something wrong with me. Well, then people are going to think that about you too, right? But when you can come from a different space within yourself, that's when other people go, oh, okay, yeah, okay, cool, well, what do you need me to do? Right? Rather than them judging you as well, because you are supporting yourself. So then that shifts your vibration. So then that's what you reflect. Yeah. If you're not experiencing that in your physical reality with people around you and stuff like that, like, yes, again, it comes to that fine line balance of knowing when to leave relationships and when to stay. But when you can hold yourself in that space, and you also have that, it comes from a deeper sense of self, yeah, and a solidarity in yourself and knowing yourself. And this is where trusting intuition comes in, because you know all these sorts of parts of you. It increases your personal power and changes your vibration. You come from a different place. You come from love, yeah. And in this space, that's where the magic happens. That's where the transformations happen. That's where people feel it from the inside out, right? They don't quite know what they feel, but they're like, you know, even people can be intimidated by you, just by you being yourself. And, you know, that's nothing on you. That's more about them. And that's the difference between the wolves and the sheep, yeah? The leaders of the pack kind of have that. And it's not that you're doing it on purpose, but it's more about those people in there. And it's kind of like, well, can you see that for what it is, and can you hold them in that compassionate space, because that's what's going to get them to shift too, yeah? And this whole thing around the love languages I wanted to speak about is just another aspect of knowing yourself. So if you Google love languages, there's 5 love languages, there's books and all that sort of stuff. But on the love languages website, there's a test that you can do, whether you're single or in a relationship or for your child. And I think it's really important for people to do just to know their own self and know how they feel loved, because not everybody feels loved in the same way, and it can cause a lot of issues with people in relationship and even with yourself, right? If you've got stuff going on in your life turning to shit, just knowing what supports you, knowing how you feel loved is an awesome self-care way that you can do things to fill you up. You probably find you naturally do them yourself, but having that awareness just takes it to another level. Does anyone have any questions? Because I wanted to say one last thing about this full moon cycle end as well, but I'll just wait to see if there's any questions that come through. Thanks for joining me live this morning. The sun's nice and warm. I'm only just starting to warm up because I went surfing and the water was warmer than the air temperature at sunrise. Well, it wasn't exactly sunrise, but it was pretty close to. So yeah, this whole situation of releasing this cycle for the last 6 to 7 months. So the new moon in January. So if you do new moon rituals, but if you did do a particular new moon ritual, I'd highly recommend you checking out what you actually set your intentions for. And maybe you just knew what was going on and just kind of reflect on, like what was going on in January for you, what happened in February, what was going on in March, April, what was going on in May, what was going on in June, and then what's been happening at the start of July. And, to have that kind of awareness, and, a full moon is a time of things coming to light. So being aware of, what the light is shining on. Yeah, the full moon lights everything up. What needs to change, what needs to shift, what's going good, what can you amplify, what are you focusing on that will amplify. And then even though the dark moon and new moon is a time for, shedding and getting rid of stuff, with the light shining, the full moon light shining on, what needs to shift and change. If you are going through heavy times at the moment, like I know there's quite a few people, questioning, is what they're doing right? Are they in integrity? Are they in alignment? What is their purpose in life? What are they actually here to do? What's stressing them out? Why am I feeling like this again? Is it really right, this path that I'm walking? All these sort of questionings are coming up for a lot of people. So if this is you, know that you're 100% in alignment, and these questions are going to spark ideas. A whole new path might open up to you as well. So like I said at the start of this live stream, kind of been going this way for a long period of time, and it's like we've done a whole 180 degree shift. If you think back to the start of the year and the energetic shifts that you've had within yourself, has definitely, there has been a lot of shifts with a lot of people, and it's definitely moving from here into here and opening your heart to love on a deeper level. So if you didn't watch my live stream from Friday, I highly recommend you go and do that, about opening your heart to love in relationship even more, but learning to know what, love is to you, and getting really clear on what you value in life. And, that will give you good questions and answers about, are you in integrity and where you're going and all that sort of thing. So if you, are in that space of questioning what you're doing and you're not quite sure, and, that path is happening for you, PM me, personal message me and let me know, because there is a lot of people who have been getting questions like, I don't know if this is in integrity anymore, and it felt right, at the time. And then, like I said, with this shift that's gone on, it's like the heart has just gone, no, you have to go this way. And even though it might not make logical sense, your heart's going, oh, and then it's kind of like this confusion going on, because you're like, oh, but that was going on, but now this is happening and I can't believe that, and blah, blah, blah. So personal message me if this is going on for you. If you're feeling called on a deeper level, you'll know. And as you probably know, if you've been watching my stuff, Trust Your Intuition doors are reopened. They close again on midnight Tuesday night, because we start on Wednesday. So if you have that deeper calling and you are feeling like you have woken up out of the sheep and you're moving into that wolf state, but just kind of going, whoa, what's actually happening here? And shifting from that, space of going, and waking up out of yourself into you know, if that's like happened and you're like, oh, but this doesn't make logical sense, or I'm not quite sure, well, definitely send me a message, because Trust Intuition is open, and it's, you know, the first part in stepping onto your life purpose and getting really clear intuitively, so that you know what you are here to do, so that you can step forward with the confidence, with the courage, you know, and be that leader without, you know, being triggered every 2 minutes and, you know, staying in your stuff for months, which is something that I used to do, and now have shifted out of that and able to stay in my heart a lot longer and a lot easier, even when shit's going on, even when people don't apologize, even when you haven't done anything wrong and they're blaming you. You know, like, to hold yourself in that heart space is very transformational for yourself, for other people. The shifts around you that happen in your life are absolute, like, miracles that happen when we stay in love, in the heart. So if this is resonating with you and you'd love to, you know how to do that, I'll post a link in the comments to Trust Intuition. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can comment on here or personal message me. And just embrace this full moon, knowing that it is releasing the past kind of 6-7 months, that's been going on. And, you know, do something to honor that, you know, like, just, even if it's just thinking about, you know, each month that's gone through in the past, you know, 6 to 7 months, because it is a very powerful transformational time, and it's a very big time of stepping up. If you remember the last half of last year, it was like 2017 is going to be the one, and it was the end of a 9-year cycle, and it's like we've just had to dredge out all this shit for the past 6-7 months, get really clear, and now it's like, oh, okay, cool, if we're going to step into, you know, what we're really here to do, and the light workers are stepping up, and the leaders are stepping up, and the wolves are awakening to, you know, like, be that shining light, to be that example, to be that, you know, person who's full of confidence and courage. And, you know, you will know if this resonating with you. You know if it's, you know, calling you from deep within. It's a soul calling. It's something that's not for everybody, because everybody's just like staying in their little world, and that's fine. But the leaders who are called to step up will step up in this lifetime. And if this is speaking to you, please send me a message, because it's not for everybody, but there is a select few who do step up and do the work and create massive changes in this world. So please reflect on this full moon, on the past 6-7 months, and then, you know, like, and start consciously choosing about what you're going to be doing for the next 6-7 months as we lead into the last half of 2017, because it is your time to shine. If your soul is calling you, you'll freaking know it. And I'm excited for those who have already joined in Trust Intuition. There's only 2 more days before the doors close again, or, you know, 2.5, 3 days. So have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday on this magical full moon, and I shall see you very soon. Personal message me if you need some help. Lots of love. Keep it really real. Namaste.